Hello, this is Tiffany Schlane, and welcome to Character Day. We're so glad you're all joining us. We have over 130,000 live events in 119 countries in all 50 states, all talking about one theme, developing character. And we're looking at questions around meaning and purpose and how to strengthen your character, all topics we need to talk about today. And I'm so excited to introduce the next speaker. I'm going to read you her official bio. Elena, I will be on you while I read your bio. Okay. Dr. Elena Man graduated from Harvard Medical School and completed her pediatric residency at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Before attending medical school, Dr. Man taught at the Dalton School in New York. Her love of children and teaching has continued, and she's currently on faculty at the REACH Institute. Their mission is to ensure that the most effective, scientifically proven mental health care reaches all children and their families. Welcome, Elena.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you, Tiffany.
Well, I have to, okay, normally I'm sure you're not supposed to do this, but she's also my sister-in-law. So I had to read her bio first so you understand why I'm having her on. Not nepotism. She's brilliant, and she's doing such important work. And we're talking about character development, and certainly talking about mental health issues are super important with that. So I think first of all, I'm so happy you're here. Have fun.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I love talking to you. Now we're just doing it in front of a lot of people. And I love your brother, my husband, Ken. Okay, so for the back to character. The first topic I want to ask you is talk about character in terms of mental health, because I know you've worked a lot with the REACH Institute on that.
Absolutely. So I think that, first of all, I so applaud what you're doing because it is so incredibly valuable. And obviously, so many of us need to really focus on how we can be better people. And your 30,000 Days movie today is fantastic in that emphasizing the importance of developing meaning and purpose in our lives can really help all of us feel better, in addition to doing good in the world. So in terms of developing character, it's critically important to develop those skills, but there are some people, it's not uncommon, like 1 in 5 kids and teenagers and adults too, who are suffering from a significant mental health problem. So if we can let them know that there is treatment available that can be safe and effective, then it's important that if they have healthy mental health, that will allow them to really pursue all their character strengths to the fullest degree.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the REACH Institute. Like, what kind of tools do you use to help parents, teachers, and students around mental health issues, which is often kind of a taboo subject, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't.
Exactly. So, hopefully we can help decrease the stigma. But so the REACH Institute is an organization that's really dedicated to trying to take what we know works through research and getting out into the community to frontline providers. So we have a program to educate primary care providers in providing good mental health care with effective treatments, because unfortunately that is not the case across the board, that people aren't trained and there's a real shortage of providers. So this is an opportunity to really help kids get the care they need. So there's a program for providers. There's also a program for therapists, and that helps them use cognitive behavioral therapy, what is evidence-based techniques that's really going to help people reach their goals. In addition, there is a program called the Action Signs Project, which is not only the people involved at REACH, but also SAMHSA, the National Federation of Children's Mental Health. And they put together, after surveying 6,000 parents and kids and professionals in the field, basically, what are the action signs? Because you got to recognize mental health issues if you're going to help them. And so it's a project that you can have public access to. You can email Lisa at thereachinstitute.org and get a list of these action signs. They also, in addition, will offer programs to come into the school to talk about what do you do once you identify them, and how do you handle them, and what are these issues? And
can you tell us some of the, some of the signs that people should look for? I think it's always worth re-saying those.
Absolutely. So, there are things that I think everyone recognizes, like if someone's thinking about hurting themselves or they're using a substance. I don't think everyone realizes those people need help. But in addition, if someone's very withdrawn and just kind of no longer engaging in their usual activities for longer than a couple of weeks, that's significant. If someone's flying off the handle and doesn't seem to be able to control their emotions anymore, they can need help. If someone is having difficulty paying any kind of attention, you know, really having difficulty focusing and concentrating, whether they've always been that way or this is a new finding, those people can benefit from help. If someone's so nervous that it's impairing what they do on a day-to-day, you know, level, so that they can't go places anymore, they can't attend different events, or they're having overwhelming physical symptoms that are making them basically have to stop everything they're doing. Those are all signs that someone needs help. And there are great effective treatments. People don't realize that. These are treatable conditions.
Well, you know, I've personally myself gone through depression in my early 20s. And the thing I remember most before I knew so much work about character development and all the strengths is the way it felt is I didn't have access to some of the things that are normally so me, whether it's my enthusiasm or optimism.
Yes.
When you're depressed, it's like you can't access your normal strengths. And so it's interesting when I think about the character strengths that we've highlighted in so many movies based on Marty Seligman's work with the positive psychology movement about, you know, what strengths when you're depressed or having problems, and, you know, giving back. I mean, there's so much research now that shows that down, volunteer,
yes,
and, give to another and help someone else, and that's going to help you. But can you talk a little bit about that? Because there's so much great research around that now.
Absolutely. And that's so critically important, and something we can all start to do, you know, almost immediately. So service to others, doing things in your life that you feel are meaningful, volunteering, you know, making an effort to do something that is kind to someone else on a daily basis actually can have great benefit for you as well as obviously for someone else. There's a lot of wellness research that talks about if you have a sense of that you're achieving something or working on something that's important to you and progressing, that can give you a lot of positive, you know, growth in terms of other things that help, like making sure you're exercising regularly, getting good sleep, having time to take a break, and having a time for some mindfulness where you're kind of stopping the frenetic pace of our lives can also have good mental health benefits.
That's super. I'm so glad that you're just repeating that. It's always good to hear. And I think what's really interesting about your work, and the whole time I've known you, is the difference of a developing teenage brain versus an adult brain. Knowing neuroplasticity, we're always growing and strengthening certain parts of ourselves and weakening others, but certainly teenage year, I definitely want to make a film, just putting it out there. I want to make a film about the teenage brain because it's such a fascinating time in a human development. And also it's the first generation. Teenagers today are the first to be able to know how much their brain is working. And if they're doing impulsive behavior, I talked to this scientist once, he's like, it's like the prefrontal cortex isn't actually connected. It's restructuring. And I love that visual. He's like, it's like a socket, a plug that can't reach the socket. So,
that's great. I like that.
Talk to us about the difference of working in mental health with youth versus adults.
Well, it's exciting because there is so much opportunity for preventing so many negative outcomes of untreated mental health issues. So the reality is that 1 in 5 kids have a mental health problem, and half of them present by age 14. And, you know, and that means, you know, if they're going to have a future mental health problem, it presents at a young age, and 3/4 by age 21. So pediatric providers are actually at a critical point in identifying this in kids because they are the ones who can really pick it up and make a difference. So as you mentioned, neuroplasticity, if you can intervene and give kids techniques, coping tools, strategies, and treatment in whatever way is necessary to allow them to not continue to suffer in that way, you can then open the doors for them and develop new networks in their brain that are going to allow them to reach their full potential. So you let them have better relationships, better school success, go on to careers, not necessarily go to street substances to address the suffering that they're experiencing because they're doing it in a way that's not going to be harmful, decrease the incarceration rate, the homeless rate, and suicide. I mean, so sad that 90% of cases of suicide, those people are suffering from a mental health disorder, and probably at least half the time it's being missed.
That's so, yeah. Well, you know, it's been like when I was in school, people didn't talk about kindness or empathy or meditating. I mean, it give me hope. Right. Ken and I have 2 daughters who you know and love.
Yes, very much.
And but Bluma, who's 8, and just seeing how much it's talked about, and they do meditation, and we try to meditate at night. We don't do it all the time, but
wow,
once a week before going to bed. And I wish I had the meditation tools just to kind of focus, close down the day, and calm myself down. And I think it's exciting to me how much that's been integrated back into the school system, which, as we mentioned in the movie, went out of the school system for a long time.
Right.
I wonder, do you see an effect of all that kind of focus on character that we've had, that resurgence?
Well, that's interesting. You're fortunate in that you live in a very progressive area. So I'm not sure that we can generalize that it's being integrated across the board.
Thank you for calling me out on that. Yes, I'm in Northern California.
So I wish that it were the case, but I think slowly there is more realization of the importance of taking time for oneself and having moments to kind of regroup. And that's definitely part of cognitive behavioral therapy. So cognitive behavioral therapy addresses how you think about things and works to adjust those. And it's very different depending on what exactly your focus of your goal of therapy is. But it also does include relaxation and ways to calm your physical self as well as your mind. And so there is definitely a push in that direction, although unfortunately many providers don't really know how to do it. And that's one of the things that REACH is trying to change. But
we're going to put the REACH Institute, it's in our resource hub so people can find it. And I could talk to you a lot longer, but we'll do that on Thanksgiving.
Yep. Okay.
My final question to you, which we're asking all the speakers, and it's our big social media campaign. So anyone watching, pull out a piece of paper, get a big black pen, and write, "The world needs more blank right now." What would you say? And you take a picture, post it on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and hashtag cultivating character. That's what we're asking everyone to do. It's very fun to see what people are doing. But I'm asking you, Elena, what do you think the world needs more of right now?
Well, there's many things I could have on that paper, but in terms of my area of focus at the moment, I would say more recognition and destigmatization of mental health conditions. So that would be what I would say, because some people think that someone has a character flaw and that they call them lazy or not trying or unmotivated or difficult or just oppositional, when in fact they have a mental health condition, and it's very dramatic to see their lives turn around when they are treated appropriately. So especially for all of the adults that are watching and the providers who work with kids, it's so important to educate yourself and be aware of what to look for, because you might be able to really make a big difference.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all your work. Thank the Institute for all your work.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor. Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.